So I'm Elana Effrat. I am the Director of Marketing at One Eight Distilling, and I'm here to talk more about what the things that you can do as a small company just to make a difference. And as a marketer, it's been frustrating for me because everybody does want to see sustainability. It's green marketing is all the rage. But for us, the sustainability is just a part of who we are. It's not the focus. It's just kind of by default what we do, but thought out default, if you know what I mean. So one of the things that's important to us is reducing waste. We happen to be in Washington, D.C., which wants to be the greenest city in the United States. So we like to be a part of that. And so I kind of wanted to create some actions for other small companies, businesses that don't have a lot of resources. There are small things that you can do that do make a difference. So we really like to work with our local community and fit into what their needs are. In this picture is Number One Sons, a local pickle company that was taking our spent gin botanicals and making pickles with them seasonally. So that's like one avenue. I did some research and I saw that they're tea makers. So my next thing is like maybe I can reach out to these tea makers in Washington, D.C. if I can team up with them to use some of our botanicals in their tea blends, and really trying to think outside the box of how we can repurpose what's in the distillery to the outside. We work with a lot of the breweries to age their beer, and probably one of our favorite projects was working with this chocolatier and the coffee roasters, where they used our used barrels, filled them up, and then we got them back and then refilled them and then came out with some awesome whiskey. So yeah. Tasty go-arounds. Most recently, we do work a lot with DC Central Kitchen, which is Jose Andreas's big organization. And because of COVID, they were left with a ton of wine that wasn't getting used since they couldn't do anything with it. We took that wine and distilled immature brandy, which we then bottled for them and donated it so that they can use it for their fundraisers and their donors. Waste not, want not. We also did a lot, I think what a lot of other small distillers did, we took spent beer, wine, and we made hand sanitizer with it during the pandemic. We were shut down for 6 months just making hand sanitizer. If anybody needs, we have a lot still. We're happy to give it to you, please. And another really great partnership is deliveries. Grubhub is now delivering spirits. I don't know if people are aware of this. And we looked into it, but then we did our homework. And Grubhub was in a lawsuit. They've been getting a lot of press lately that's not so good. But we reached out and found a local bike messenger company owned by women that their own team buys into the company, and we love that. So we told Grubhub to stick it, and now we are using a bike messenger service in DC to deliver locally. We also work as locally as we can to get our goods, like our shippers came as far as Baltimore. The furthest we have, as far as packaging, of course, is the glass, but most recently we got our labels digitally printed from New York. So we try and keep as much on the East Coast as we can to cut down on costs. Much like what Amanda, you were saying, it's all about the ingredients. And it was the ingredients that drove the decision to have that offset of making less of a carbon footprint. By working with local farmers, we wanted to get that terroir. So it's a win-win situation. I did a little bit of numbers, but transportation is responsible for a fifth out of the total CO2 emissions globally and a third in the US. So by getting our grains from only like 100, 200 miles away, we save so much on CO2 emissions, 19 times less. We also get to work with fresh and local. Some of the farmers that we work with, they came to us like, we think this would be really great to turn into whiskey. So it's that kind of partnership that opens the door for new ways. One of our main botanicals in our gin is Appalachian Allspice, and we originally had to get it from Michigan and then talk to one of our farmer partners, and they're like, we can grow that for you. So now we get it locally sourced. This past year, we had to get it, we got it locally foraged, actually, which was kind of cool because it came in fresh. So we got to see this beautiful, fresh spice. We also have a full roof of solar panels. And I don't know about other cities, but DC has a lot of kickbacks for solar panels. So we did not pay for any of the solar. That was basically all leased to us. We pay for the electricity. So that's a really great cost-effective way of saving money for a small business, is looking to see what those kind of partnerships are with solar energy in your area. And as you can tell, it saves us a lot of electricity. In 1 year, looking at the CO2 offset is 973 trees grown and over 109,000 miles in your car. We work with our solar panels hooked up to this system called EGauge, and I can look at any moment of the day and see how much electricity is being produced and used. It is probably one of the coolest things I get to look at, and I don't know if anybody else looks at it as religiously as I do, but it's so fascinating to me. I took this snapshot last week when we had a series of really great sunny days. This week we had a lot more clouds. So the difference between a sunny few days and a cloudy few days is that the last 3 days we were only able to generate enough energy to light one single family home for a week, grow 6 trees, save $45, and only 662 miles. So we really want that sunshine. And I always remind the co-founders that it's not about what we are not doing, it's about the things that we are doing, because everything does matter. So simple things like just using our steam to clean the mash tun and the fermentation versus using chemicals. That saves 98% on chemicals in the distillery by just doing that one switch. And of course, collecting cooling water to reuse in the process saves tons on water. And of course, we would love to do more. And with the right investments, that would be the next step, is to be able to turn that into a continuous loop so there is no water waste. But the fact that we're doing that now does make a big difference. Really, other simple things is just like motion sensor lights, things that you don't even think about. Putting those into areas that you're not going in and out of saves a ton of energy by not having to turn off and on lights when, how many people forget to turn off lights? I think I'm hoping I don't have any on in my apartment right now. But also using LED lights in the distillery, those little things. We just switched to biodegradable cups. And talking about treating your people fair, it is about treating them well, but giving them a fair wage, paying more than what the minimum is. Because sustainability is not just about the environment, it's about the people too. For a while, we were working with a cleaning company that hired ex-convicts to give them a second chance. So we do that vetting process ourselves to make sure that we are working with the right partners. And then, as I said, just partnering with the right partners that share in the same values. And that's what I got for you.